Hello and welcome to Louise Singleton Creations. I'm so excited to share this week's project with you because Let's Resin have sent me another kit of flex rubber, and this time I'm making puppies, and I can promise you, you're going to love them. So if that sounds good to you, prepare yourself for cuteness overload and enjoy the video. In case this is a new product for you, let me first introduce you to the Let's Resin Flex Rubber Kit. So in the kit you get 5 different colours of flocking powder, you get your 2 bottles with the part A and part B of flex rubber, you get mixing cup, you get a lidded box for applying your flocking powder, you get a mould of paw prints, you get bags, you get mixing sticks. You name it, everything you need is in there, along with very detailed instructions. This kit is so awesome, it's been selling out very quickly, and Let's Resin do need to keep restocking. But the great news is it's now available in the UK too. And on my last video, a lot of people from the UK were disappointed that they couldn't get their hands on it, but now they can. So check out my video description for the links. Okay, you've seen the kit, let's put it into action. My first job before I did anything else was to cover the inside of my silicone mould with petroleum jelly so that the flex rubber didn't stick to the silicone. I tend to just dip my finger into the petroleum jelly and rub it all over the mould, but I also use a Q-tip for the little areas such as the tail and the ears to really get into those nooks and crannies. I was super excited to use this mould, which I bought specifically to use with the flex rubber, and this was my first time trying it. It's a Shar-Pei dog mould, and it looked so cute with its little rolls of puppy fat that I thought it would look brilliant in flex rubber. So I've already measured out my part A and part B of the flex rubber. I did 100 grams of each. It's a 1-to-1 ratio by weight. Then I mixed it thoroughly with my Let's Resin mixer, but you could just use the stirring sticks provided. I purchased some silicone colourant to try out. You don't need this to colour your flex rubber. You can use the flocking that comes with the kit to pigment it, or you can use mica powders, but I really wanted to have a go with some of this, and I wanted to make a colour that I didn't have with the flocking powders. I wanted to make like a beige colour for the puppy's skin. So I added a little bit of brown and a little bit of white and mixed it all up thoroughly. Because it was my first time with the pigment, I wasn't really quite sure how much to use, but it seemed to work quite well. When I do my second puppy, towards the end of the video, you'll see that I use the flocking powder to pigment it, so you get to see both techniques. My first puppy is actually going to be black, and so you might be wondering why I'm making a skin colour. Well, I thought you might kind of be able to see it through the black flocking powder, and it might make it look more realistic, but we will see. We'll find out soon if that actually worked or not. Next, it was time to add the flex rubber to the mould, and I did it a little bit at a time to make sure all those nooks and crannies were filled. There's a little area where there's a tail, and I needed to make sure that that didn't have any pockets of air trapped in it, and the same with the ears. So I was very thorough with it, and I'm going to speed up because I really did take my time filling the mould. So the curing time does depend on how warm your environment is. Here on the east coast of England, it's very cold at the moment, and I am avoiding putting on my heating. We're trying to be frugal. So yeah, there was no heating on, it was very cold, so I did leave this for about 8 hours. In a warmer environment, 5 hours would probably do it. And so I'm speeding this footage up, because when you're demoulding the flex rubber, you really need to be very careful if there's parts of the mould that are delicate, like the little toes on this one. They were very small and delicate, and I wanted to be careful. So you just kind of pull it away from the mould gently and slowly. don't rush it, don't try to pull it out all in one go, just take your time. And there it is. It looks a little bit scary at the moment, doesn't it? But don't you worry, the cute factor will start when I put the flocking powder on. Right then, I don't want the flocking powder to stick to the eyes and the nose, and so what I decided to do was take a very small paintbrush and paint on some black mica powder onto the eyes and the nose before adding the flocking powder. That way it takes away the stickiness on the places where I don't want the flocking powder, and also it's a really effective way of colouring the eyes and nose, which I really wanted to stand out. So yeah, it's got a dual purpose, and it was great to see it coming to life when I got those eyes on. And I think with dogs, you might agree with me, one of the cutest things is their big black nose, along with their lovely big eyes too. But there's something very sweet about a dog's nose, I think. Right, once those were covered with mica powder, it was time for the fun part, which was adding the flocking powder. So here I've got an old takeaway container and a little sieve, and I've found that the flocking powder can be a little bit lumpy. So I wanted to try sieving it first to make it a more fine powder, and that really did work well. As you saw at the beginning, the kit comes with a little plastic box for adding your flocking, but this puppy was a little bit too big for that box, and so that's why I'm using my takeaway container. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I could do this all day. I really could. It's just so satisfying adding the flocking powder and feeling the squidginess of the puppy. Honestly, it's so fun and also quite therapeutic. I really could do it all day long. So for the bits that weren't quite covered, as you saw just there, I used a brush just to get into the finer places where it was struggling to get. Now, the next job, I decided to paint some areas with mica powder. As you can see, it's very, very black, and I felt that it needed some kind of contrast in there to bring it to life a little bit, and so that's why I'm just brushing on some of the pink mica powder in certain areas, and that really did help a lot. I thought it looked much more realistic with a little bit of the pink shading around the face area. I actually did some on its tummy as well, but I don't think I recorded that. And of course, all of these extra little things that I'm doing are not essential at all. Really, you could call it finished as soon as you finished flocking, and it would still be a great gift for anybody. But I really enjoy this part of it to, really bring it to life and add that shading. I think it transforms it. So yeah, you've got the choice. You don't have to do all this, obviously. So once I'd finished adding pink around the face, it looked so much more like a real puppy. And then I moved on to the paw pads and added some pink there, just for a little bit of extra cuteness. So the final thing I wanted to try out was to add some black UV resin to the eyes and the nose to make them shiny. And honestly, I think that was the best thing I could have done. It made all the difference in the world. So I've just got a little bit of black in my pot. I've got a micro brush and I'm just dabbing on the UV resin. Don't try dripping it directly onto the eyes or the nose. Just add the tiniest amount so that it doesn't start running about all over the place, and then put it under your UV light and it will be done. And yeah, what a massive difference it made. How cute is that? Honestly, there's no words. There's no words for it, is there? Just adorable. And I think using the skin colour for the flex rubber works really well. You can see it through the flocking. It's just perfect. And it was at this stage that I decided that this special little guy needed a special little kennel to sleep in. If you want to go straight to seeing me make my second squishy, I'll put the timestamp on the screen so you can fast forward to that part. But if you would like to see how I made the kennel, I'm just going to put some music on. I'm not going to give instructions. It's just so you can see the process, and hopefully you'll enjoy seeing how I made it. And there we have the finished kennel, made mostly with a cardboard box and coffee stirring sticks, and of course the trusty glue gun. You'll see the puppy discovering its new home very soon, but before that, let's very quickly go through making the grey puppy. I did everything just the same as last time. The only difference this time was that I used the black flocking powder to give it colour. One thing I should say, in case you buy the same mould as mine and follow my instructions, is that the 200 grams of flex rubber was too much just for the mould. I wanted to make a hamster as well. I didn't show that in the video, I just wanted to make one. But yeah, this video was all about the puppies and I kept it that way. So I took it out the mould very, very carefully again and it came out beautifully. I didn't have any problems with either of the puppies. You just need to be really careful. And then I did the painting again, except I think I forgot to do the nose, but it didn't matter in the end. I did do the paw pads before adding the flocking powder this time. I think that's the only difference. But I think the white on the black looks really good. And I said it's a grey puppy, and what my husband pointed out was it actually looks a little bit more blue than grey, which is good because you get blue puppies too, and so yeah, it works. And while you're watching this, I want to take this moment to share a tip with you that I've discovered whilst making squishies. Now, sometimes you might decorate your squishy and add something that you don't like. Maybe it would be the flocking powder that you don't like the colour of, or something else. If you don't like the finished result, you can actually wash it all off. And the best way that I've found to do that is to use hand sanitizer, running water, and also a little bit of liquid hand soap, all rubbing it all into the squishy. And it takes a little bit of time, but all the flocking and pigment will come off with that hand sanitizer and liquid hand soap. It works really well. And then you're left with the, clingy, the sticky squishy that like it was when you got it out of the mould, and you can start all over again with the decoration. So I think that's a good tip. That might be useful to you, hopefully. So there he is, coming to life with the UV resin on, and I think this one's very cute. You can see the details a lot better on this one because it's not so dark, and yeah, I think he's a beauty. Okay, it's time to give him some peace and quiet in his new home. And there you can see I made the lid so that it would open and make it easier to put the puppy inside and poke his head out the front. And there, I think he looks very happy. Well, he will do when I've unsquashed his face. There we go. I think he looks very comfy, very happy in there, and yeah, I think it just looks great. So here's the black one to lay next to him. Really, he's probably a bit jealous because he doesn't have a kennel as well, but I think they look great together. Let's have a closer look at them. Now, the unfortunate thing about videoing this is that you can see how they look, but you can't see how they feel. And really, the way they feel is the very best thing, even better than the way they look. The weight of them in your hands is quite heavy, and I don't know, I can't describe it. You really have to try making some and feeling them for yourself to know what I'm talking about. But they feel amazing, so soft and squashy and heavy, and oh yeah, they're brilliant. Now, if I've tempted you to have a go with Let's Resin's Flex Rubber, and if you've enjoyed the video, please do use my affiliate link that's in the video description. I earn a commission and it helps me a lot, and it will be no extra cost to you. In fact, if you go to the video description, you will find my discount code and you will actually save some money. I will also leave a link to my Amazon storefront, and if you click on that link there will be a list of other products that I've used in this video, such as the mould and the grass. And as always, I would like to request that if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to. And that will be it for today. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.